The first dentistry, surviving a Stone Age toothache, the agony of the abscess. Imagine you have a severe throbbing toothache. A cavity has eaten its way down through the outer enamel, dissolved the sensitive dentin, and reached the raw, exposed nerve of your lower molar. Every heartbeat sends an electric jolt of white-hot agony radiating up into your jawbone, your ear, and your temple. Today, this is an annoying inconvenience. You call a dental clinic, sit in a cushioned reclining chair, get 2 quick shots of local anesthetic to numb your mouth completely, and listen to low background music while a dentist cleans out the decay with high-speed diamond-tipped burrs and sterile water sprays. Now, wind the clock back 14,000 years into the Upper Paleolithic. There are no pharmacies. There is no Novocain. There are no titanium drills spinning at 400,000 RPM. You are crouching near a frozen rock shelter in northern Italy. The wind is howling outside, and the pain inside your skull is so incapacitating you haven't eaten solid food in 4 days. A dental infection out here isn't just miserable. It's a slow, agonizing death sentence. If an abscess forms and spreads bacteria into your bloodstream or deep into the floor of your mouth, you will die of sepsis or airway obstruction. Desperate for relief, you sit on the dirt floor and lean your head back against a boulder. Another member of your group steps forward, pulling a tiny, razor-sharp sliver of chipped flint out of a leather pouch. They tell you to open your mouth wide. Then, using only raw hand strength and a piece of pointed stone, they begin digging, scraping, and carving directly into your infected, living tooth. The 14,000-year-old discovery. For over a century, conventional history taught that dentistry was an invention of the agricultural revolution, something that only emerged 5,000 to 7,000 years ago, when humans started farming grain, eating sticky carbohydrates, and suffering widespread tooth decay. Paleolithic hunter-gatherers, historians assumed, simply lived with rotting teeth until they fell out, or died from the resulting infections. Then, in 1988, an excavation at the Riparo Villa Bruna, rock shelter in the Dolomite Mountains of Italy, completely rewrote dental history. Archaeologists unearthed the skeleton of a young adult male dating back 14,000 years. When forensic anthropologists examined the skull under high-powered scanning electron microscopy, they focused on his lower right third molar. The tooth had a large, gaping cavity, but inside the cavity walls, the researchers didn't see natural decay. They found a dense network of microscopic striations, deep parallel grooves, and distinct lever marks cut into the enamel and inner dentin. Forensic analysis confirmed what seemed impossible. An ancient practitioner had used a pointed flint, microlith, a tiny stone blade just millimeters wide, to manually gouge, chip, and carve out necrotic, infected tissue from the tooth cavity while the patient was still alive. The striations showed unmistakable wear patterns, proving that after the decayed pulp was scraped clean, the tooth had continued to function for months. The patient had endured the procedure and survived. This was not a post-mortem ritual. It was the oldest confirmed case of operative dentistry in human history. The Neolithic bow drill manual stone picking was a monumental leap forward, but Paleolithic humans quickly ran into a mechanical problem. Scraping enamel by hand with a flint blade takes enormous physical effort, incredible patience, and delivers unbearable, prolonged agony to the patient. So, around 9,000 years ago, ancient healers made an extraordinary technological upgrade. They automated the drill. At the Neolithic archaeological site of Mehrgarh in modern-day Pakistan, researchers uncovered a cemetery containing hundreds of human skeletons dating between 7,000 and 5,500 BCE. Among them, anthropologists discovered 11 distinct molars and premolars across 9 individuals that had perfectly circular, cylindrical holes bored into the enamel. The holes were remarkably uniform, measuring between 1.3 and 3.2 millimeters in diameter, with depths reaching up to 3.5 millimeters. Under electron microscopes, the internal walls of these holes revealed concentric circular rings. These weren't carved with a handheld pick. They were drilled using a bow drill. The bow drill was the primary fire-starting and bead manufacturing tool of the Neolithic era. It consisted of a small wooden bow strung with animal sinew wrapped around a central vertical wooden shaft. Moving the bow back and forth spun the central shaft thousands of times per minute. To turn this into a surgical dental tool, Neolithic artisans napped tiny conical drill bits made of hard, high-grade green chert or flint, mounting them to the tip of the spinning shaft. The technical precision was stunning. The holes were bored into the chewing surfaces and outer margins of molars located deep in the back of the jaw. The drilling was executed with pinpoint accuracy, targeting precise patches of decay without cracking the fragile surrounding enamel. In several cases, the holes were drilled into the complex curvature between teeth, areas so tight that modern dentists require angled mirrors and precision handpieces to reach them. Forensic dental analysis revealed that the drilled walls showed clear signs of smoothing and chewing wear, proving the patients lived long after having high-speed stone drills bored into their jaws. The first fillings, drilling out infection, solved the immediate threat of decay, but it created an equally dangerous new problem: a wide, open hole inside the tooth. Without a protective seal, food particles, saliva, and bacteria would pack into the drilled cavity, causing rapid reinfection and catastrophic nerve death. Ancient dentists realized they couldn't just drill, they had to invent restorative filling materials. In 2012, researchers analyzing a 6,500-year-old human jawbone found in Slovenia made an extraordinary discovery inside an upper left canine. The tooth had suffered a deep vertical crown fracture that exposed the sensitive inner dentin. Packed tightly into the crack was a pale, waxy substance. Infrared spectroscopy confirmed the material: purified beeswax. This 6,500-year-old beeswax filling was not an accident. The wax had been carefully warmed, softened, and pressed deep into the fracture line during life, creating an airtight, waterproof seal over the exposed dentin. Beeswax was the ideal prehistoric filling composite. Malleability. When warmed near body temperature, it could be pushed into microscopic fissures before hardening into a rigid seal. Hydrophobic barrier. It repelled moisture, keeping saliva and food acids away from the nerve. Antibacterial properties. Raw beeswax contains natural propolis and antimicrobial resins harvested by bees, actively inhibiting bacterial growth inside the wound. Surviving without painkillers. The most haunting question remains: how did an ancient human sit through the torment of stone tools grinding into their teeth without modern anesthesia? Enamel has no nerves, but the moment a flint bit punches through into the dentin, fluid shifts inside thousands of microscopic dentinal tubules, triggering intense, sharp pain signals directly to the trigeminal nerve. To manage the physical shock and sheer panic, Stone Age communities relied heavily on natural botanical pharmacology: willow bark, salix, chewed raw, or boiled into strong broths, releasing salicin to dull throbbing systemic pain and reduce jaw inflammation. Clove and wild herbs. Crushed plant oils containing eugenol, the exact same chemical compound still used in temporary dental cements today, were packed into aching tooth sockets to provide a temporary numbing effect. Narcotic botanicals, henbane, wild poppy extracts, and potent fermented alcohol brews were administered to sedate the patient into a semi-conscious stupor before the drilling began. Equally important was the hunter-gatherer perception of pain. In an environment where surviving frostbite, predator attacks, and broken bones was a routine part of existence, enduring a few minutes of agonizing dental surgery was a simple, logical trade-off for staying alive. The legacy. When we look at the evolution of medicine, dentistry is often dismissed as a modern luxury. We imagine prehistoric humans as helpless victims of their environment, silently suffering through dental rot until their bodies gave out. The archaeological record proves the exact opposite. 14,000 years ago, long before the invention of the wheel, written language, or metal tools, our ancestors were diagnosing pathology, engineering microflint scalpels, repurposing fire drills for surgical precision, and compounding natural resins to rebuild broken smiles. They had no textbooks, no sterile operating rooms, and no safety nets. What they had was ingenious mechanical problem-solving and an iron will to survive. The next time you sit in a dentist's chair and hear the high-pitched whine of the drill, remember, you are taking part in a 14,000-year-old tradition born out of pure Stone Age resilience.